Have you ever been on a website and just wondered what makes it feel so alive? You know, how it responds to your clicks instantly, how things animate smoothly, or how a form tells you something's wrong before you even hit submit? Well, that little bit of magic, that's JavaScript. So let's pull back the curtain and take a look at the engine that really drives the modern interactive web. Probably the best way to get our heads around this is with a simple analogy. Just think of a web page like a person's body. First, you've got HTML. That's the skeleton, giving it all its structure, its bones. Then you've got CSS. That's like the clothing, the hair, the style. It's all the visual flair. But JavaScript, that's the brain. It's the part that thinks, that reacts, that makes everything happen. It's what gives the body life. Okay, so let's zoom in on this interactive brain. What is its job, really? What's it actually doing behind the scenes? So, officially, JavaScript is a high-level programming language, but the really key phrase here is that it runs client-side. What does that mean? It means it's running directly in your web browser on your computer. And that's the secret sauce. That's why everything can feel so instant. It doesn't have to call home to a server halfway across the world for every little thing you do. So, what can this brain actually do? Well, pretty much everything you do on a modern website. You know, when you're signing up for something and the form tells you your password is too short right away, that's JavaScript. Those slick animations when you scroll, JavaScript. When new posts just magically appear on your feed without the whole page having to reload, yup, that's JavaScript too. It's the engine behind massive web applications, those cool interactive maps, and even games you can play right there in the browser. All right. To pull off all these incredible tasks, this brain needs a system. It needs a way to think, to remember, and to act. It needs its own language of logic. And the absolute first step to any kind of logic is just memory, right? You can't make a decision if you can't remember anything. In JavaScript, the way we remember stuff is with variables. You can just think of them as little containers or boxes or labels for storing pieces of information that we might need later. Now, JavaScript gives us two main ways to create these containers. We can use the keyword let for information that we expect might change. The analogy here is perfect. It's like a message on a whiteboard. You can write it, erase it, change it. But then we have const, which is short for constant. This is for data that should never change. Think of it like your birth date. It's set in stone. This little difference is actually a huge deal because it makes our code a lot safer and easier to follow. So if variables are the nouns of JavaScript, the things it remembers, then functions are the verbs. They're the action-packed parts of the language. A function is really just a block of code that we give a name. We wrap up a task inside it, and then we can call that function anytime we need that job done over and over again without rewriting the code. Super efficient. For instance, a really simple function could be designed to take one little piece of information and input, say a person's name, and then it does something with it to produce an output, like creating a personalized greeting. This basic idea, input, process, output, is the foundation for pretty much everything JavaScript does. Okay, so we've got memory with variables, and we've got actions with functions, but how does this brain actually connect to the HTML body to make things physically change on our screen? This is where the real magic happens. That connection is made through something called the DOM. That stands for Document Object Model. The easiest way to think about the DOM is as the browser's live interactive map of our HTML skeleton. It's not just a static blueprint. It's a living, breathing model that JavaScript can talk to directly. It can use the DOM to find any element on the page, change it, create new ones, or even delete them entirely. But JavaScript doesn't just act randomly. It's an event-driven language, which means it's basically always listening. It's waiting for events, and an event is just something that you, the user, does. Clicking a mouse? That's a click event. Hovering your cursor over a picture? That's a mouse over event. Pressing a key, submitting a form, JavaScript is listening for all of it. And this all comes together in a beautiful, simple, three-step dance. First, JavaScript uses that DOM map to target a specific piece of HTML, like a button. Second, it attaches a listener and just listens. It waits for a specific event on that target, like a click. And third, when that event finally happens, it acts. It runs a function to do something, maybe change some text or show a hidden menu. Target, listen, act. That is the core loop of all interactivity on the web. Now, like any living language, JavaScript doesn't stand still. It is constantly evolving, getting better, more powerful, and frankly, easier to write. So let's take a quick peek at what modern JavaScript looks like. This is a fantastic example. On the left, you see the classic way to write a function. It totally works, nothing wrong with it. But check out the right side. That's a modern arrow function. It does the exact same thing, but look how much cleaner and more concise it is. It's just easier to read at a glance. And this kind of improvement is all about making developers' lives easier. Here's another one. Remember our greeting from before where we had to mush strings together with plus signs? Well, the new way uses something called template literals. You just use these backticks and you can plug your variables right into the string. It's so much cleaner, way less likely to cause a typo, and just more intuitive, right? So let's tie this all together. At its heart, JavaScript is the brain of the web. It remembers things with variables, it does things with functions, and it connects to the page and listens for you using the DOM and events. If you're excited by this, the next logical step is to see how it talks to servers or maybe explore powerful tools like React or Vue. But honestly, the most important thing is to just practice. Build small, fun, interactive things. That's how you really learn. The web is this incredible canvas, and JavaScript is the tool that lets you paint experiences that are alive and that breathe. So really, the only question left is, now that you've met the web's interactive brain, what are you going to build with it?